American Italian leader and good friend of our family, Sandy Tornberg. Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Congratulations.
Thank you so much.
Sandy just won a big award.
I know. Very
Yes.
big award.
The Knight of the Order, Star of Italy.
That's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It's
There.
that's a picture of myself with this is the Consul of Italy in Detroit, Paola Allegra Baistrocchi,
I'm glad you said it and not me.
presenting me with the award.
Now
And we celebrated Love IT Detroit, which was in conjunction with the Detroit Month of Design from September 1st to 30th. And so we had a curated exhibit of Italian products, technology, design. And so she presented the award to me at an event in conjunction with that display.
That's awesome. Now I know you're very proud of your Italian heritage. Now, how did your family get to America?
So my mother was actually born here.
Okay.
My father emigrated in 1949, and he immigrated to Canada, spent 3 months working on a farm because that's how he was able to come. He was a farmer in Italy, and apparently there was a quota that he met. Anyway, so he did time on this farm, then came to Windsor. He and my mom met, and my mom, even though she was born here, had grown up in Italy.
Okay.
And lived in Italy from the age of 2 to 16, literally the next town over from my dad. But they met here.
That's
and,
amazing.
And got married. And yeah, that's a picture of us. The first time my dad took us back to Italy to meet his family.
So you would be 10 years old, I think, in this picture.
I was 6 years old.
6
Wow.
years old.
That was 59, and I was
Okay.
born in 53.
Okay.
And
so this was
he was here 10 years
Wow.
before he was able to go back and see his
That's
family.
amazing. I wonder how difficult it was at the time to be able to make a trip like that, to go back, right, when you were just 6.
That's his family. About 3 years before he came, his 2 sisters and my grandparents and my uncle. My uncle later came after my dad, a few years after my dad. My aunts stayed there, married there, and that's who we go to visit. We would go visit now their descendants. But yeah, it was very difficult. It was very common.
Yeah.
And because there was no work in their part of Italy, it was very common for central to southern Italians to leave and come. Some of them would make their money and go back.
Yeah.
My dad was one who liked living here and liked the life and never, he'd like to go visit, but never wanted to go live back in
Yeah.
Italy.
Some communities weren't welcoming to Italian immigrants in post-war years.
Correct.
How about your family?
I think they endured the words Dago and WAP and that kind of thing. I don't think that my dad experienced prejudice per se, but I think that was just lucky because it did exist and it was very prevalent. But there were a lot of Italians in Windsor, and there's a big Italian community in Detroit. So I think they were able to kind of band together and stick together and make their way. Of course, Italians were interred during the war as the Japanese were. So
So you decided kind of later in life you wanted to get heavily involved, and it seems like it kind of snowballed into you being a part of so many different organizations and then turning into the leaders of those organizations. But that's got to be awesome. Is that maybe a tribute to your father?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So my early years, I was working and had Samantha and Donald, and my father died young. So my mom was also part of our immediate nuclear unit, even though she had her own home. So I didn't have a lot of time to, my focus was we ate dinner every night together, and I didn't really join up. Well, then as I retired and as my mom got older, I started dipping my toe in, and then it's kind of like anything else. When they find out you're ready, willing, and able, next thing you know, you're on this committee and that committee. And
But it's nice to be honored for some of this work.
It's so, you want to see it?
I do want to see it. Before we get into some more pictures, that is very cool. And again, they don't give these out.
No, it's very,
Yeah.
it's so humbling and gratifying to receive the award, because I do what I do because I love my heritage, I love my culture. I'm a social person, I love being out in the community. And then to have someone single you out and
Cool.
nominate you for something like this is just unbelievable.
And I know your family was there, and you spend a lot of time with your family, including 21 days in Italy recently.
Yes.
Oh,
Which
wow.
I don't care
Yes.
how much you love your family, Sandy. 21 days is a lot of time.
We really did pretty well. we there is my favorite photo. My dear son-in-law, Michael, and Samantha, we took a side trip from Sorrento to Monte Marano, which is the birthplace of Michael's great-grandparents.
That's
Wow.
cool. And
Benvenuti.
yeah.
Benvenuti. yeah.
Welcome.
And Michael did all the
Correct.
research himself on this, didn't he, or did you?
Well, I have more free time than they
Yeah.
do. So, I took it upon myself to contact the mayor.
And this is the mayor.
This is the mayor, Beniamino
Wow.
Palmieri. He was very gracious, was waiting for us, and made sure that the church was open, and took us on a tour of the church, and where there are relics of their patron saint of the town are actually in this church. Recommended a great place for us to go to lunch, although he couldn't join us because he was busy. And a side note, prepared for us without asking the documents that we're going to need to translate and submit for Michael to get his Italian citizenship.
Oh, that's cool.
'Cause
Very
Which was awesome.
You have to speak Italian in order to get citizenship, right?
No,
No?
luckily they did change. Michael will fall in because his grandfather was a great grandfather, and his father also has his citizenship.
Yeah.
So it's just a matter of the documents. But interestingly, they changed the law for if you were going to become a citizen based on being the spouse of an Italian citizen, there is a language requirement now,
Interesting.
and you
Very-
have to pass a language test.
I know that Michael tried Rosetta Stone before going over there, but I don't think it worked too much.
He didn't have to worry because he
He
had
had you.
me.
He had you.
me. And Samantha, even though she doesn't like to let it be known, she does okay too.
Yeah. So we recently celebrated Samantha and Michael's wedding.
Yes.
Which was amazing. You were there.
Oh
A
yes.
multi-million-dollar affair.
You had so much food.
Oh.
Where's this? Oh, this is
That's okay. When I was president of the Italian American Cultural Society, I was the first female president.
First female
first
president.
female president. And
We
it's
had
a
our
60-year
60th
history.
anniversary, and that was Michael's first foray into the shenanigans that are my life and Samantha's. This was his first events and galas night.
Now every time I talk to him, he's going to one of your
Right.
something for Sandy.
There we are, with our step and repeat. It was a big deal.
Very cool.
It was a great night.
So
And
here's
there's
the wedding. And I was very nearby this photo.
I know.
was very close to this photo.
I know. I think there
It-
may be one of you in there. At least I submitted
What do
it.
you notice about this photo? Anything?
What do I notice?
Yeah. Is there everything?
Oh, my husband wearing the blue tie. Yes, this was pre-tie exchange.
Oh yeah, we had a tie issue down
Oh.
in the lobby.
Oh.
Donald put the wrong tie on.
He went home. Yeah, he packed. I looked at everything: the tuxedo, the shirt. Did not check the tie, and he picked a blue tie. But
Oh
anyway,
my gosh.
And this is, of course,
this is in Sorrento.
Sorrento. What a
Where-
fabulous trip.
It was beautiful, fabulous.
What do you
fabulous.
recommend for people traveling? A lot of people want to see Italy. How long should they go for?
It's really hard because like any country, there's so much to see.
Yeah.
This is the Italian. One of my shenanigans is I help organize the Italian festival every year.
And you have an outfit for every occasion, just like your daughter.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You can't talk about Italian culture without talking about the food.
Yes.
And of course, food was a big deal at the wedding. But how about you? Are you a good Italian cook?
Yes.
Yes.
I would say I am. I tend to. That's my family in Italy. When we were saying goodbye the day we were leaving my cousin's home. Sorry, I keep looking at the pictures and getting distracted
That's
from the
cool.
questions. Am I supposed to do that?
Yeah, that's fine.
But yeah, I'm a good cook. Samantha is, I think
She is very
she
good cook.
has probably exceeded me.
Do you call
There-
it gravy?
No,
No,
that's an East Coast, New Jersey thing. It's
it's
sauce.
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 What's the best Italian restaurant in Michigan?
Oh, that's a hard question. There's several we like. I have a good friend who just opened a restaurant in Sterling Heights, Michigan,
It's a long
called
drive.
Mangia Baby Urban Italian.
Yeah.
There's a nice restaurant downtown called She Wolf that's very good. There are several famous ones. Luciano del Signore is from my part of Italy, and he has a restaurant called Bacco that's very good.
Nice.
So there are a few.
I'm
of
gonna
them.
make some notes.
Make sure
Yeah.
you write those down.
Yeah, well, just call me.
Now, not everyone is like you and wants to get involved and better your community. What advice would you give to people that are maybe on the fence about getting active? Of course, we know in any community it takes people like yourselves to get the job done. Any recommendations for people?
I'd say, go with something that interests you. Start slow. It's okay if you don't feel necessarily comfortable with the first thing you try something else. I don't only do Italian stuff, I also volunteer for Forgotten Harvest and Friends of Foster Care and the Anton Art Center and the opera. And so there's something out there and there's a great need, and you can spend as little as 2 hours a week or 8 hours a week or however much time you have to dedicate, but there's nothing more gratifying than knowing you're doing something to help somebody or to promote your culture or to support something you believe in.
That's great advice.
Yeah, and keeping your heritage alive. And I think
Yes.
the Detroit area has so many of these groups
Yes.
where it's work to keep the next generation
It is.
into getting involved and
It is.
knowledgeable about their
It is.
history.
And it's very important because if that doesn't happen, you start to lose it. So that's
Yeah.
why it's a big challenge to recruit young people and to get them engaged. And then, we have to let, the challenge is always, sometimes we get them to the board, but then they want to micromanage them and we drive them away.
Yeah.
So we got to remember to let them come, bring their ideas, support them, encourage them, and help guide them along the way.
Sandy, thank you so much for coming down and being with us today.
Thank you for having me. It
Yeah.
was so much fun.
Great to see you. Sandy
Great to see you.
Tornberg with us, Detroit Italian American leader. Back more of the morning show right after this.